If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, and the best is blessed, baby.
All right, gentlemen, we've been over the rules. Protect yourself at all times. Follow my instructions. Keep it clean. Touch gloves if you wish. Let's do it.
Straight Talk MMA, hosted by Zay Bonez, the MMA Brotherz.
Good morning, good morning.
Yo, good morning, bro. What's up?
Another day in paradise.
Yeah.
Yep. Look like we're finna get a good rainy Sunday.
Yeah, look like it.
So thanks everybody for tuning in. I am Zay
Bones.
and we the MMA Brotherz, and we here to break down what was a very eventful UFC 303.
Eventful in good and bad ways.
Yeah, absolutely. And I must say, overall, I mean, it was an entertaining card, but I was disappointed. I was expecting more. Even during the fight, we still had fight cancellations and rebookings, and it was just, I'm pretty sure the UFC is just happy to get through this one.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
we got two new little categories that we're going to do for today's show for UFC 303.
You want to do them as we approach the fight, or you want to do them in...
I already got the presentation up, so we're just going to do these and get these out of the way real quick. Beat down of the night. That award went out to Julian Robinson as she retired Michelle Waterson-Gomez. We'll detail the breakdown of the fight in a little bit once we get to it. And anything without breaking down the fight too much you want to say about this, bro?
I mean, it definitely earned the award. One-sided.
Yeah.
3 10-8 rounds. So
yeah. And
shout out to
KO
Julian Robinson for going into the Straight Talk MMA Hall of Fame for winning the first ever Beatdown of the Night award.
And KO of the night. Oof, this was a brutal one. I did not see this coming. As you can see, body bags Joe Pyfer stiffened out powerbar Mark Andre Barrio, and he laid him out flat. That follow-up shot as he was going down, that's what did it to him, bro. That was nasty.
Yeah, man. I knew that was a possibility. I felt like he really needed that. That was definitely the knockout of the night, as you can see, based off of the way he was laying in the night that had 3 knockouts. So, I mean, good morning, Jay. Good morning. I mean, I'm sorry, it had 5 knockouts. It was 5 knockouts last night. So, yeah, that was definitely extremely violent, brutal. Came real quick. We'll go over that fight when we get to it.
All right.
Shout out the Body Bags for
He needed
winning
that
the
one.
first ever Straight Talk MMA Knockout of the Night award.
All right. Now you ready to break down some fights, bro?
Let's get into it.
All right.
First fight of the night, we had Ricky Simone versus Vinicius Oliveira. Somebody was telling me that Vinicius Oliveira was their lock of the week. You try to pick a underdog every week to be his lock of the week, and I did not see this fight playing out this way. I felt like if Vinicius Oliveira won the fight, he was going to get a finish. Thought Ricky Simone would be able to use his grappling and just pretty much wrestle him for 3 rounds, but he couldn't take him down. Takedown defense for Vinicius Oliveira was extremely impressive, and Ricky Simone couldn't close the distance. Okay, Jay the Creator, he definitely had Vinicius Oliveira. What surprised? What was? I feel like what made this fight happen the way it did was Ricky Simone. Once he got caught with a couple counter shots, it made him afraid to let his hands go because he knew what was coming back at him, and that just pretty much stifled his offense. At one point, Vinicius Oliveira threw a leg kick that got checked. I thought he broke his leg, but it was towards the end of the round. He came back in the next round and was still fighting like nothing ever happened. So that was a 3-round clean sweep.
His new name is Sprawl God. Yeah. I really loved his defense in this one because
Sprawl God.
like my brother said, Ricky Simone, best path to victory was using the clinch and the takedown. Oliveira clearly knew that, and he was able to sprawl and just use his whizzer. And even when he was up against the cage, he couldn't get him taken down. So that was pretty impressive, and that's a skill that's going to take him very far in the division because you gotta have good. It's one thing to be a striker, an elite striker, and use your range and stuff, but you also got to know how to not get taken down because you want to keep the fight standing. So, but this was very impressive for me.
Hey, he was quick too.
Yeah, he was, and he was talking him a little bit. He got like a lot of swag in the ring.
Yeah, he definitely was letting his hands go in combinations too. So that was pretty impressive. Looking forward to see what his third UFC bout holds. That was a big jump up in competition too. So
yeah.
Next up, we had Rai Ciruya versus Carlos Hernandez. You can go ahead and take this one away.
Man, anybody who loves jiu-jitsu or who loves the ground game, this is like watching a jiu-jitsu competition right here. The way they were scrambling in and out of transitions, I thought Ciruya would be able to handle him a little bit more, but Hernandez actually has displayed good defense once again. It's always like to see when fighters have good defense. I mean, the offense is flashy and stuff, the knockouts and stuff like that, but when a fighter can show that they got good defense and, it's not easy to get submitted and the scrambles, I know they were both tired after this one. I was tired just watching it.
Yeah, like Jay said, the best technical fight of the night. Hey, this guy's grappling was extremely impressive. Ciruya on the ground, it's like he got 4 arms. I can't wait to see him fight again. The way the way he flowed with it, it's like he was so spectacular offensively with his jiu-jitsu that you had to be impressed with Hernandez's defensive grappling because it was so many times he could have got finished. He almost pulled off a twister.
Yeah, I just want to say that, yeah.
So that was really fun to watch. I know a lot of people don't like the grappling aspect, but I feel like if you watch these two guys grapple and you couldn't enjoy it, then you'll never be a fan of grappling. It's just that simple. But Rice Ciruya had your boy what up? Them boys was playing a game of Twister. Yeah, you're right. You're right. It was like watching two octopuses fight. He came out with Shinsuke Nakamura in his corner. I thought that was kind of weird to see Shinsuke like out of character as like a regular person.
Well, Shinsuke had like 4 MMA fights before, so it's not like he,
Yeah, I know.
it wasn't too weird. But hey, shout out to the Japanese MMA though. You got my boy they just beat
Tyra.
yeah, Tatsuya Taira, and then you got this guy right here. So shout out to Japanese MMA being put on the map.
Yeah, and they all seem to be grapplers, which is crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
One thing I can say about Ree is he did get tired like in the third round.
I think he kind of got tired because he didn't expect for Hernandez to hang with him like that. It kind of was like an adrenaline dump a little bit.
Yeah, and also even when Hernandez was offensively grappling, he had Ree on the bottom. You can tell that he was hesitant to like create separation and try to do damage because he felt like if he gave this guy any space, then he was just gonna sweep him.
Yeah.
Next up in the heavyweight division, we got Martin Boudet defeating Andrei Arlovsky in the most boring split decision one could ever watch, especially for heavyweights. Andrei Arlovsky, 45, so I give him that. Been in the game over 20 years. Martin Boudet is in his like early 30s, so I don't know what his excuse was. They should have just called this fight a loss for both guys. That's just how boring it was. I don't really got nothing else to say about this except for that was Andrei Arlovsky's last fight. It's been confirmed. He has retired. Appreciate you for a great career, Andre. And he said Andre killed his ticket. I knew better than to put money on him, but I mean, at least I thought I did. He definitely could have won that fight. That was one of those fights where you think you know what's going to happen going in, and then it's just like a complete snooze fest. And I feel like Martin Boudet should be ashamed of himself.
Yeah, no excuse for that. You said Arlovsky retired for sure. I know this was his last fight on the UFC contract, and then say he's not fighting no more. Well, I didn't know if he actually retired.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like maybe he might go somewhere else, but I feel like you could tell he felt 45 in there.
Yeah. I have a question, bro. Why did Michelle Waterson get a video package and Andrei Arlovsky didn't?
Maybe because he wasn't talking. Maybe he wasn't definitive already. I don't know.
I mean, but Dana was definitive knowing that this was going to be his last fight because this is his last fight on the contract. So either way, he's not coming back.
See, I didn't know. I didn't know it was his last fight on the contract.
Yeah, I read the report this morning, but I feel like that's messed up with the UFC. I got to call him out on that. This is a former UFC heavyweight champion, and he did his thing in the division. He's a legend. Yeah, and I feel like he should have at least got a video package on his way out. I know the fight was boring and it was exciting and all that kind of stuff, but you got to put some respect on his name, in my opinion.
Yeah,
he could have went either way. This fight was boring. Martin Boudet, he got to go back to the drawing board because he was just trying to clinch up, and it was a boring fight.
I feel like Arlovsky was initiating the clinch, and then he'll push him up against the cage, and Boudet just sit there and just like accept it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So whatever. The best thing about that fight is that it's over. Next fight, women's strawweight bout. As we said earlier, this was the beatdown of the night. Michelle Waterson Gomez got absolutely destroyed by Jillian Robertson for 3 rounds. She almost got submitted like 3 times. Jillian Robertson kept fishing for the arm bar. Her striking looked a lot better than usual too. She was keeping it standing for the first like 2.5 minutes of the fight. And then she decided to take her down, and once she took her down, it was clear that she was just levels ahead on the ground. So she dominated the first round, dominated the second round, then landed some vicious elbows from full mount. She almost had her in the arm bar. She got saved by the bell in the second round. The first round, Michelle Waterson displayed some good defense and was kind of able to keep herself safe. In the second round, when it started, Jillian Robinson came out, just ran straight through a kick to the face to get the takedown. But in the third round, remember yesterday when we was talking about this fight, I was saying I was curious to see if Michelle Waterson would try to take her down, and she actually did, and almost got caught on the guillotine. And
that was great. That was her corner's fault, 100%, bro. Her corner told her to do that, and she just listened to her corner.
Yeah. Vic said she been trashed for a minute. Kind of makes me wonder what she was doing that Dana ain't been cut her.
I think what that situation is where she sounded like a 4-fight deal after one of her wins, and then he just kind of let her ride out her deal, basically.
Yeah. He was saying how, like, apparently, like, he real cool with her family and whatnot, so I guess he just showed some sympathy. And I guess considering that she a pioneer when it comes to women's MMA, but I definitely wouldn't resign her.
Yeah, I wouldn't resign her either. Yeah, like we said, this was the beatdown of the night. Jillian Robinson, this was the biggest victory of her career. She basically retired Michelle Gomez, you know, and that's what her coach Dean Thomas said before as she entered the octagon. He was like, "We want to retire her tonight," and that's what they did, you know. Michelle Waterson, she had a good career in Invicta, but we all know this division is just too big for her. 10 pounds too big for her. She's an atomweight fighter. I got nothing but respect for her. I don't want to see nothing bad about her. She's a pioneer. Even though Ronda Rousey get a lot of credit for being on the forefront of women's MMA, you got to give Michelle Waterson some credit too, because she was fighting 4 or 5 years before we even knew really about Ronda Rousey, you know?
Right.
So. Ooh! Man.
Then we had the future of this division.
The future.
Peyton Talbot versus Giannis Gamori. This fight was only about 18 seconds, so Peyton Talbot came out and just threw a 1-2 straight down the pipe, dropped his opponent, and then he tried to go for the walk-off KO. He didn't walk off, though. And the referee looked at him and said, "Finish him."
And he did. David.
So he came down with some, I guess, unnecessary but necessary ground and pound. And that was
super necessary. Yeah, Peyton Talbot, we call this
One Piece.
Bro, this was pretty nasty. This kid is the future of the division. He nasty. Ever since I seen him with his last fight against Cameron Simon, I knew that he was gonna be the truth.
Vic said the first fight that changed the pace to all them decisions.
Yeah. I went to take my dog out for a walk, and I came back, and the fight was over already, man. But I went back and watched it. It was pretty nasty. I'm interested to see what he's gonna do. Hey, you know who he called out, right?
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. Adrian Yanez.
Yeah, that'd be something.
Out of the night right there.
Yeah, that'd be something right there. That could be co-main event on Fight Night card. Dana, you've been kind of giving us a little watered down Fight Night cards, man. Put that as a co-main event.
You already know the layout. When it's a fight night, that's at the Apex. Then you finna get the watered down version. When it's a fight night, that's in somewhere where they gotta sell tickets. That's when you're gonna get the real fight nights.
Yeah, you need to just cut the Apex completely. All right, this all you, bro. You can take this one.
Next up, featherweight bout. We had Charles Air Jourdain versus Gene Silva. I was telling Bones yesterday that Gene Silva could very well knock out Charles Jourdain. And actually, this was Friday on the show. You can go back and hear it. And he proceeded to tell me that like I was shot out, like he act like I was crazy or something. But lo and behold, Gene Silva gets the knockout. I feel like Charles Jourdain started off pretty good. He was the faster fighter. Gene Silva was going straight Matrix. Like he was dodging head kicks by just leaning straight back. Charles Jourdain tried to kick him to the body, he would kind of like fold himself in a little bit, and then he would always come back with some really, really, really just haymakers from hell. But he was just missing them by a little bit. But I feel like that got in Charles Jourdain's head, and he realized, like, damn, like, this dude trying to knock my head off. And then when he actually did get caught, he felt the power, and then that made him start flinching at every single feint. And once I saw that happen, I knew it wasn't good. Round 2, Charles Jourdain ended up catching Silva in a clinch. He went for a takedown. Silva defended very well, stuffed his head, and when they broke, Gene Silva just caught him with an uppercut, and it just floored him. Head bounced off the mat, and it was over. Anything you got to say, bro?
Yeah, my bad, I was muted. But 2 fights last night shocked me, and this was the first one. There was no way I seen Gene Silva knocking out Charles Jourdain. Charles Jourdain, he himself has 8 knockouts and KOs. He's never been KO before. I figured Gene Silva would be like a little bit wild, and Jourdain would be able to use his range and catch him and piece him up. But I don't know. I just feel like Jourdain was a little off, not to take away nothing from Gene Silva. He is part of the Fighting Nerds, and that's probably one of the best fighting camps going right now. I just feel like Jourdain was a little bit off, and Silva, he was extremely hungry, and he wanted it more, seemed like, last night. But he definitely got my attention, though. You got me on that, bro.
Hey, shout out to the Twitter audience. We appreciate y'all. If y'all could just jump over to Facebook. I keep saying Facebook. I mean YouTube. Give us a like, subscribe. If not, then keep doing what you're doing. We appreciate you either way it go. Hey, bro, I gotta give you some pushback on that. You gotta pump the brakes a little bit on that. One of the best fight camps out there. You feel me? Like they
Fighting Nerds.
Yeah, they up and coming, but I wouldn't say they're one of the best right now already.
I would say so because if you look at the way they're putting people out, like a lot of fighters out there are here in the UFC, and they're just destroying people. You know,
They're on a 10-fight win streak, but I mean, like
that right there is impressive. That's impressive right there.
It's impressive, but like, are any of them ranked?
Oh, trust me. Isn't Kali Bahayo ranked or no?
He might be, but I mean, if you got one ranked fighter, you can't say we're one of the best camps. I mean, I get where you're coming from. Like, they on their way there. You get what I'm saying? But
well, I guess I'm also projecting too, though.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. They on their way there. So this fight right here, one fight of the night. Featherweight bout between Cub Swanson versus Andre Touchy-Feely. It was a pretty fun fight. Andre Feely was using his range, trying to stay at distance. Cub Swanson didn't really get going until, I say, like mid-round 2. Feely started to gas out a little bit. Every time Cub would let his hands go and throw in combination, Feely would end up slipping off to the side, ducking under, and initiating the grapple sequence. This fight was very fun. Cub Swanson is a legend. 40 years old is kind of old to be a featherweight, but he still bring it every time. His durability has went nowhere. He ate a couple of head kicks. In the 3rd round, he started really pouring it on, and he was going for the finish. You could tell he knew he needed a finish. And I was getting kind of worried for Andre Feely because it was a couple of times I felt like that chin got tested, and I know he seems to be kind of chinny at times, but that was a good win for him. I feel like he definitely needed it more than Cub did. But Cub, even at 40, it's like I still don't mind seeing him fight because, yeah, he's lost a little bit, but he can still compete with these guys and still get some knockouts. The power ain't going nowhere. The heart ain't going nowhere. The chin ain't going nowhere. And he's still pretty crafty.
Hey, bro, you think that was a clear-cut decision for Feely or no?
No, it definitely wasn't clear-cut. It was close. It was close.
Yeah, I thought it was close too, and I thought that in the 3rd round he was getting caught up a little bit, and he was definitely getting hit.
If that was
But
a
I feel
5 round fight, he probably would have got.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And I just feel like Cub just started on a little bit too slow because the first round I gave to Philly. The second round it could have been either way. I would have gave it to Philly, but I wouldn't argue against it. And
Right.
the third round was definitely Cub Swanson, in my opinion. And you can kind of tell like when
Too.
yeah, when you can kind of tell when the horn sounded, Andre Philly let out a big sigh like, like all right, it's so exactly like all right, it's over now. And then he kind of went to his to the cage and put his hands in the cage or whatever. But
And then
yeah,
went to his cage, and I heard his coach telling him, Andre Feely is who he thought he was. And you let him off the hook.
yeah, but yeah, Cub Swanson, he still got a little bit more juice in him. I say.
Yeah, he still got a lot to offer the sport. Not to mention he a coach too. So
Wow, this is another fight right here.
this was the knockout of the night. We had Body Bags Joe Pyfer versus the Power Bar Mark Andre Barriault, who has never been KO'd in the UFC. I thought this fight was going to be longer, but in a minute and 25, he got slept up against the cage, face planted. Joe Pyfer's power is insane.
Yep.
Joe Pyfer, like I thought Andre was going to be able to extend him, but
be like Joe Pyfer.
Yeah, body bags, man. He put him in the body bag. His power is something serious. It's not really too much to break down about this fight because it was so quick.
Yeah, I completely misread this fight. I thought that if you look at his last fight, he basically threw everything at Jack Hermanson and he didn't get him out of there. And I figured, okay, Barriault, he's more of a Terminator kind of than Hermanson is to me. He can eat more shots. So I thought Pyfer would tire himself out. I thought maybe he'll drop him. He'll even catch him with a couple good shots in the first round. But towards the second round and definitely the third round, I thought that Power Bar was just going to just take control of the fight and use his energy and his gas tank. But nothing more to break down. He just put him out, man. This is very impressive.
Hey, more so than breaking down this fight, I just want to. First of all, it's pretty impressive that Joe Pyfer could bounce back from a loss like the one that he just took. That's something I'm always interested to see in the younger fighters. When they take an L, how they bounce back. If you look at Ricky Simone, he took that L. Now he on a 3 fights losing skid. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's always interesting to me to see how young fighters bounce back from a loss. And secondly, as far as Barriault, it's really interesting to see how he's going to bounce back from being knocked out like that. Like, because one knockout like that and the chin could be gone forever. It could change your fighting style. It's definitely going to be in his head, like for his next fight. So I'm interested to see how they match him up next. I'm interested to see how much time he takes off, how they match him up next, and how he performs next.
I'm a fan of him, but he probably got to go back to the drawing board because there's 2 straight losses. The Chris Curtis loss, he wasn't,
that was
really
a good fight, though.
Yeah, it was.
It's like you don't lose too much in that fight, but like by getting knocked out like this is like, and especially coming off of a loss, you're right. It's probably gonna have a huge effect.
I don't know why they still got this like this.
I don't know, but that was the end of the prelims, and caused a lot of excitement going into the main card. And in the main card, to open it up, we had Ian Machado Gary versus Michael Venom Page, welterweight bout. Ian Machado Gary came into this fight undefeated. And this fight played out exactly how I thought it would. I felt like Machado was thinking that he was going to be faster than Michael Venom Page. And then I feel like everybody else, you get in there with him, and MVP speed surprised him, and he did not want to let his hands go. If you notice, he was just standing in one place a couple of times, and every time he did throw, he got countered. MVP was kind of like piecing him up a little bit. he had a lot of moments of inactivity, and then he would blitz in, but that's just typical MVP fight. He tried to throw a side kick to the head, and he was just off by a little bit. And Ian Gary ended up catching his leg and taking him down, rode him out for the whole first round. The second round came, and MVP was in and out, blitzing. He caught him with a couple of shots that hurt him. I felt like he could have possibly got him out of there. And then Ian Gary ended up being able to clinch him up against the cage. But MVP definitely won the second round. And that third round, I can't even remember what happened, but I know MVP ended up on top. I think they was in the clinch, and MVP tripped him and ended up on top of him. And he didn't get off no damage, but he rode him out for about 3 minutes. And then when they got back up, Vic says
At first, that's just what Trevor said.
he ain't want no smoke with that stand up. He rocked him a few times. Trevor said MVP annoys the hell out of me, fake ass Anderson Silva. Vic says, and that choke was deep and he got out. That surprised me. Yeah, I was surprised about that too. I thought it was over in the first, to be honest. MVP definitely showed that he don't got like he still got those holes in his game when it comes to the grappling. Like he was making like the biggest mistakes. Gave his back, wasn't defending the hands on the choke at first. I feel like if Ian Gary was a higher level of jiu-jitsu, then that fight would have been over in the first round. But nevertheless, MVP survived, won the second round, and in the third round, I feel like MVP kind of edged it out. I wouldn't have been mad at a draw in this fight, but I thought MVP won.
Bro, I don't know if this is a UFC bureaucracy or what, but this is basic MMA math to me. You broke down the fight round by round, so I don't got to do all that. But if Ian Gary won the first round, MVP won the second round, you start off in the third round is 1-1, so the winner of the third round wins the fight, right? Okay, yep. So MVP controlled it's 5 minutes in a fight. I mean, in a round. MVP controlled 3 minutes because when Ian Gary took control, it was 1:52 left on the clock. So therefore, in my opinion, if MVP controlled the majority of the round, he should have won that round. And also, don't forget, MVP was in Ian Gary's guard on top for legit about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And Ian Gary, he was posted up on MVP's back, and all MVP had to do was just lean over and just shimmy once or twice, and he would have fell over. And that just frustrated the hell out of me. You know what I'm saying? But
he wasn't even in a threatening position, like.
No, he wasn't. And to me, in basic jiu-jitsu, when you're in somebody's guard, that's more of a threat than if you're back posted and they're about to drop you. You know what I'm saying? And you're about to lose that position. So I don't understand how I don't know. I just don't like that decision. I feel like they wanted to keep the undefeated streak going or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Jay say, bro was scared. Yeah, he definitely didn't want to. He thought he was going to be able to stand and bang with him, but he realized real quick that was not the way to go. And Vic said, "Did y'all like the decision as far as unanimous?" I didn't like the decision. Period. Like,
he should have lost that fight, bro.
The wrong guy won the fight, and the fact that he won it unanimously does make it more egregious.
Yep. And I used to be one of the biggest Ian Gary fans, but
yeah, I used to like him a lot too.
But he lost some steam for me as far as my fandom towards him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. They saying they're gonna do a rematch. Next up, and around this time right here, after that first fight, that's when we got word that we just changed the co-main event. Brian Ortega got sick, and so we reached out to Dan Nige, and he gonna step in on 4 hours notice. First time ever in UFC history, somebody took a fight on 4 hour notice. And so once I heard that, I was kind of deflated because that's the fight I wanted to see the most. So I watched this fight with an attitude. And
Hey, bro. Hey, wait, bro. Hey, bro. Real quick before you get there, I want to address that. I feel like Brian Ortega should have never had him to fight that fight in the first place
yeah,
because
I agree.
he was
I feel
already
like,
cutting. He was already putting on weight to go out to 55, and then you ask the fighter who was already putting on weight with their body. You ask them in 3 weeks to drop down to featherweight. You know what I'm
not
saying?
even a full 3 weeks, like a
You
week and
know,
a half down there.
and obviously that wasn't healthy for him because he had a fever last night.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I'm not holding that against T City, but
Nah.
at the same time, I was just gutted by that. So we got Myra Bueno Silva versus Meshi Sesson. This was about to be a great fight. Everybody was complaining about this fight being on the main card, and now Vicky definitely wasn't the only one. Yeah, MVP was definitely supposed to win. This was turning out to be a great fight. Everybody was complaining about it being on the main card. I'm a real big fan of Bueno Silva, and I like Michi Chazon too. I expected Bueno Silva to win this fight. I expected it to either go all 3 rounds or possibly win by decision. I mean, by sub. She started running away with the fight in the first round, but then at some point, like I say, probably with like 2 minutes left in the first, Michi Chazon decided to just put her feet down and plant, hold her ground, and she started throwing combos. And then they started trading back and forth. It was a lot of clinch uppercuts, clinch knees. Mario Bueno Silva was walking her down, and then all of a sudden, it started being a back and forth fight. This fight was just as fun as it was fun for as long as it lasted. Second round, it was back and forth on the feet. Mario Bueno Silva obviously had more power in her hands than Macy Chazon did. Macy ended up taking her down. I thought, oh man, this is going to be very interesting because Bueno Silva is a beast when it comes to the submission game, but Macy Chazon was able to stay safe, caught her with an elbow on top, cut her eye open, like right above her eye, right above the eyebrow. Nasty, nasty, nasty cut. When Bueno Silva was able to get back up, the referee called time, had the doctor to come look at it. He said the cut was too deep, and the doctor was on the damn fence for a while. First, he kept saying, I don't know, it's pretty deep. It's pretty deep, but she wants to go. She wants to go. It's pretty deep. It's up to you. It's up to you. And then the ref kept saying, what do you say? Like, it really is up to you, motherfucker. Like, ain't nobody want to make the call. And then the doctor probably said, it's too deep. It's too deep. And so they stopped it. I was really disappointed in that. I mean, it was a good stoppage, though. I can't argue it because that cut was vicious. He said that it was too deep to the bone. So, I mean, it is what it is. So now Mitchell Chazon is probably in title contention.
Yeah. I thought Bueno Silva was gonna run through her and submit her like in the first round. I underestimate Macy Chazon. You know, and when she went down in her guard, I'm like, oh man, now is the time. I think she's gonna submit her now. And instead, I just seen that cut, and that was a nasty cut. Even though I was rooting for Bueno Silva, I think this was the right call, definitely, because they said it was to the bone.
Hey, in hindsight, do you think Mario Bueno Silva was too comfortable off her back?
Yes, and I thought she was too emotional during the walkout. She had that look in her face like she was about to cry, and just like the moment was kind of getting to her a little bit. I could be wrong, but I just felt like she was already a little too emotional, and she had a adrenaline dump, in my opinion, because she started off the fight real hot, but like maybe midway through the round or within 2 minutes left in the first round, like you said, Michi Chazon just bit down on her mouthpiece and just stood her ground. And it kind of took Silva by surprise a little bit. I think, you know what I mean.
I think that's just the Bueno Silva walkout. Like she always walk out like that, and when she wins, she always get emotional. I think she's just an emotional person, dog.
Yeah.
So, how you think they should play out this division, man?
Kayla Harrison versus Juliana Pena.
No, I think Juliana Pena should be versus Raquel Pennington, and I think Kayla Harrison should fight Macy Sesson. And the winners of both fights fight each other.
Kayla Harrison makes you sit song, and yeah, that'll work.
Vic said he think they should run this fight back.
No, I don't think so.
I think nothing from her. That cut came at a good time and want her to fight. She was where she wanted to be. Absolutely. So next up, in another fight that was pretty disappointing to me, Anthony Lionheart Smith versus Roman Dolidze, who was also a last-minute replacement. This fight right here was pretty boring to me too. I don't know. It was just pretty boring. I feel like they kept it striking and stayed on the feet. Anthony Smith didn't really let his hands go. And
at all.
I feel like he threw a couple leg kicks that it started off like pretty fun. They was tearing each other's legs up. They was trading leg kicks for a while, but then Dolidze started letting his hands go, and Anthony Smith wasn't letting his go. I don't know if he was trying to preserve energy or what, but I actually picked Anthony Smith to win this fight, and I feel like, I don't know, he didn't really look like he was too prepared. And then second round, he got clipped a little bit, then he kind of stumbled. I don't know if it was a slip or what, but once he got to the ground, he's definitely well versed in jiu-jitsu, and he just let Roman Dolidze hang on him. He wasn't trying to get up, and he stayed there until like the last 30 seconds of the round. So that pretty much drained that round away. And then in the last round, he started trying to fight a little bit, and I feel like he won the last round, but that was pretty much it. And I know he's gonna be disappointed in himself when he go back and watch this one. Vic said, I told y'all he was gonna beat Smith. Smith looked real dry. Yeah, he did actually. He did. That's crazy. Like he just woke up and came into the arena to fight. I don't know, man. It was crazy. That was very uneventful, and it sucked to have to suffer through it.
Hey, I got two things to take away from this fight. Number one, Anthony Smith, this could have been your path to a title shot if you'd have won this fight and maybe another one. There's other been 3 straight fights
on the card.
Exactly. You could have called out Poatan, you know what I'm saying? And I think the UFC would have did him a favor because they don't want Goliath in the title fight. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that's number one. Number two, you know who Anthony Smith need to fight next, right, bro?
Who?
He's ranked number 10, right? And at number 12, Bogdan Guskov, the guy who looks just like him with no tattoos.
Oh, okay.
You got to make that fight, bro. You got to.
Doppelganger.
You got to. That'd be so crazy to see them in the octagon together.
You say Dolidze, he should stay at light heavyweight. He too big for middleweight, and he looked his full potential at that weight, even though it was against washed up Smith. Hey, what's up, Keith O'Toole? You said McGregor's fight against Chandler being canceled is the biggest fiasco since Tyson pulled out against Paul.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean,
honestly, bro, do you think that McGregor fight is even gonna happen, like ever?
I'm not confident it's gonna happen at all.
Yeah, me either, man.
Unfortunately, and I'm the biggest McGregor fan, but I'm not confident that fight gonna happen. I think Perry the better matchup. Yeah, me too. That's why I'm gonna say with the Tyson fight, that's something different because he old, and I just don't want to see him in a boxing ring against Jake Paul. You know what I'm saying? And now you got Mike Perry. I wish Mike Perry would have had a full training camp, but Mike Perry is a better matchup than Tyson. I agree with you on that, Vic, 100%.
Yeah, me too.
Hopefully Perry put him out.
And for some reason, they still have Brian Ortega, but it ended up being Dan Ige who took the fight on about 4 hours' notice. They say the man ordered the pay-per-view and was at home going to watch it, and then he ended up fighting in the co-main event. That was pretty cool. I'm pretty sure Dana broke both of these guys off. Diego Lopez took a short notice fight, and then he cut weight just to be told that his opponent wasn't going to make the weight, and they had to go up a weight, and he still accepted the fight, only to find out, okay, we're switching your opponent, and he still accepted the fight. So good going to both men. I think the right guy won this fight. I thought it was 2 rounds to 1 in favor of Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez won round 1 convincingly, had a mean Darce choke on. I thought that Darce was going to be the end of the fight. I feel like he was letting go more combinations. Dan Ige, he was one shot popping and going backwards the whole time. True enough, some of the shots that Diego Lopez let go were blocked, but I feel like he kept mixing it up, like head, body, 3 or 4 punches at a time, walking Dan Ige down. Ige didn't really get off no offense in that first round. In the second round, it was a more grapple-heavy attack. Dan Ige did defend a couple of takedowns, and the second round was a little more competitive than the first, but I felt like Diego Lopez won that one too. He threw a couple of leg kicks. He did eat a head kick, but he just walked through it. I'm not sure if that was the second or the third, but in the third round, I felt like Diego Lopez started to gas out, and Dan Ige was going for the knockout because I feel like he knew he needed one. And that was pretty much the fight. Diego Lopez was able to survive. Dan Ige looked like he was in better shape, even though he took the fight on shorter notice. I don't know if that had anything to do with Diego Lopez going through a weight cut and then putting the weight back on, as opposed to Dan Ige just walking in at his natural weight. But it was a pretty fun fight, and respect to both guys.
When you think about it, that can't be healthy for Diego Lopez either. Like what he put his body through. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I don't really have much more to add about this fight. Ige, he did display some good defense as far as, on the ground and everything like that. Because at one point I did think he might get submitted. But I'm interested to see what they're going to do for Ige next. Like he did, even though he lost his fight, his ranking shouldn't drop, in my opinion, at all.
His ranking shouldn't drop, and he should definitely get favor from the company. Dana was saying, both guys were saying they want to fight on the Sphere. And they was asking Dana if he will let him do that. He was like, these guys can do whatever they want. They say Lopez a G. I think he's definitely the future of that division. He's young and hungry, and I respect him more for how he did what he did for this fight on short notice. Yeah, same thing with Ige, man. He didn't lose nothing in the loss. You get what I'm saying? His stock definitely went up. That was a hell of a performance, and you got to wonder too. Also, was it because of what Lopez put his body through as far as cutting and putting back on weight, or was it the fact that he hasn't been 3 rounds in a while?
Yeah,
he's been finishing people like in the first round, like quick.
Yeah, I think Dan Ige, he's ranked number 13, and ironically Lopez is 14. But I don't think they should rematch each other. I think you give Dan Ige Calvin Kattar, and then you can give Lopez. I don't want to say Bryce Mitchell, but maybe Josh Emmett.
Oh, that's a scary fight, but I like it.
Yeah. Arnold Allen got a fight. Mazar Evil, I believe he got a fight.
Where y'all here at?
He ranked number 4. Josh Emmett ranked number 7. I don't know if you want to jump him up that far yet.
But I mean he was about to fight number 3.
Yeah. You could do that one too. They had to be good in the Sphere. Put Yair versus Diego Lopez.
Yeah. You guys are naturally featherweight, so featherweight division is pretty loaded up right now. So it's one of the more fun divisions, I feel like. So that was it for the co-main. Anything else you want to add on that one?
Nah.
All right, so then we got to the main event of the evening. Light heavyweight title fight, undisputed. I'm not undefeated at light heavyweight. undisputed light heavyweight champ Alex Poatan Pereira versus Yuri Procházka. And Poatan pretty much just picked up where he left off. He came out chopping the legs. I feel like Yuri definitely did sting him a couple of times, but I don't think he ever really rocked him. I feel like Yuri was getting rocked with pretty much everything. You could definitely tell Pereira was coming with more power. Yuri, at one point, I feel like towards the middle of the first round, he was fighting a little different. He wasn't really using that awkward movement that he used as much. He was kind of hesitant. You could tell he was worried about the power. I feel like at this point, Pereira is definitely in his head. Last closing seconds of the first round, Alex caught him with a nasty left hook that dropped him, and I feel like he was basically out at that point. But second round started, 13 seconds in, he caught him with a head kick, and that was a wrap.
Yeah, man, this was very tough for me to watch. Yuri is my favorite light heavyweight fighter, and Poatan is my second favorite. I just want to talk about the stare down for a second. I was looking forward to the stare down just as much as I was looking forward to the fight. Yuri came out, and when he came out, he immediately just stood in the center of the octagon. And as Poatan came out, which Poatan has one of the best UFC entrances, man. That little pace that he do, where he throwing his setup and he plotting, then you got the music going, the chama music, and then he do like the little bow and arrow. That's the only time you ever see him change his expression. And then he goes so stoic, and as he walk into the ring, Yuri just staring at him, and they're just staring into each other's souls. And they actually timed it, and it was 4 minutes and 55 seconds, and they did not blink at all. You know what I mean? And it was just super intense.
That was the first round.
Yeah, and it was real intense, man. But Yuri, he couldn't really find his shot. I feel like, and I feel like he's aware of the power of Poatan. And towards the end of the first round, when Poatan caught him on that left foot, that was basically it right there. He knocked him out. If there was 10 more seconds, he would have followed up and would have put him out for good. Yuri got up and tried to grapple him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't even know where he was. And at that point, I already kind of felt like the end was nigh. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was basically over right there. As soon as the second round came, he just, feinted and caught him with a head kick and just blasted him and put him out and followed up, and then that was it. And I just feel like it's one of those situations, like you said, bro, last night. I looked at you in your eyes with defeat, man. I told you I was hurt, and you was like, yeah, this is like a Matt Holloway situation. You feel me? And, as long as Poatan is champ, Yuri can never be champ,
Right.
And that's tough because I don't see Poatan losing that belt. Only way he'll lose it is if he go up to light heavyweight and vacate it. And I want to say this. I don't want to see John Jones and Stipe no more. That fight done lost all his lackluster, all his energy and all his build and everything. John Jones need to fight Aspinall, or if he is going to fight, I'd rather see him fight Poatan than your boy Stipe.
I feel like if anybody get hit by Poatan, I don't care who you are, you got problems on your hands. This dude, like, got ungodly power, man, and it's like you see him knock people out with the left, you see him knock people out with the flying knees, the switch knee, and now you see him knocking people out with head kicks. So it's like, it can come from anywhere, and that kick came out of nowhere. And I believe, for some reason, I feel like it was the lead leg. I gotta watch it again. I don't really remember, but.
And then he broke his toe off of that kick, and then he just snapped his toe back in place. You know what I'm saying? Like,
was that the toe that was already broken, or?
I think it was. I think so.
Vic say he did what he was supposed to do and put him away, and he should fight John for double champ. Yeah, he'll be like we're literally watching history, man. Like nobody has ever came to the UFC and within 2 years' time held the middleweight championship and the heavyweight championship, and could potentially, before it's all said and done, I mean light heavyweight championship, and potentially before it's all said and done, could be the heavyweight champ too. That'll be the first ever 3 division champ. And the way it's looking right now, I think Ankalaev is going to be next. But at some point in the future,
Oh my
see him
goodness!
going
Hey,
for the
I would
heavyweight
love,
championship.
I would love to see him start Ankalaev. I would go nuts.
Poatan versus Pereira will make a great fight, a great match between the two. You see, it all comes down to strength and conditioning. So, anything else you want to add on this card?
No, I mean what could have been? It was supposed to be McGregor, and then you had Jamal Hill versus Khalil Roundtree in the co-main event. You know, it would have been pretty good, but for what we got, it was a good card. It was a good ending. I mean, not for me personally because I'm a Yuri fan, but at the same time, I respect Poatan. It wasn't a boring fight. Like you know, they were going to go in there and bang.
Yeah.
They used these two warriors, these two samurais, and they called upon them again on short notice, and they delivered again. You know.
I don't know if Pereira can, but damn, he would most likely be a GOAT for that one. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. The way I see it, I just look at it like I feel like he can knock anybody out. It's just a matter of connecting. Yet to see what's gonna happen when a high level grappler take him down. But I mean, at the end of the day, Jan took him down and he was able to survive. And Jan ain't no slouch on the ground. Overall, this card, the main event, as advertised, we knew somebody was getting knocked out. Disappointed in the co-main event as far as how it fell apart. But damn near everything almost fell apart on this card. They had to do a lot of reshuffling. So usually I always give the UFC credit for having a pivot and making the pivot better than the original. But in this case, I feel like they didn't do that with the co-main event. But at the same token, they could have just scrapped that fight altogether. But instead, they found a replacement in 4 hours. So I'll give them credit for that. You get what I'm saying? But I don't know. To me, this card took too many hits. And now the card next week is already taking hits. It's like I feel like there's something going on. The card last week took a hit. It took multiple hits, actually. I don't know. It's just one of those seasons, I guess, where it ain't going to be as advertised. But overall, it was pretty good. I had higher expectations. I give this card like a solid 7. Had 5 knockouts. The knockouts were devastating. I feel like it's just I wanted more for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah. Next week, right? You got
Tracy Cortez, Rose Namajunas.
Yeah.
Then after that, you got Amanda Lemos versus Verna Jandiroba to see who's the sexiest woman in the UFC.
Wow, I'm so excited for that fight. Oh my goodness.
Ain't that right, bro?
Yeah, I'm not watching it.
They're trying to see who the sexiest woman in the UFC is.
Yeah, I'm not interested.
And then you got Bilal versus Leon. Bilal finally getting this title shot. That's July 27th. So I don't know. That's pretty much it. Hey, we got a special edition of Wrestling with Reality tonight at 6:05. So tune in to that. It definitely won't disappoint. Hit the like, subscribe. We got a lot going on the channel. Something for everybody on this platform. This weather is insane outside right now. Lightning hitting pretty hard.
Yeah. Y'all be safe. Y'all stay safe out there, and y'all enjoy the rest of y'all Sunday.
Peace.
Peace.
If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, and the best is blessed, baby.
All right, gentlemen, we've been over the rules. Protect yourself at all times. Follow my instructions. Keep it clean. Touch gloves if you wish. Let's do it.
Straight Talk MMA, hosted by Zay Bonez, the MMA Brothers.